Derek here with Sergeant Survival. Get out in the woods today again, thankfully. Looking forward to shooting a couple videos for you guys. They're going to be request videos. I had one to go over the contents of my first aid pouch, which we'll get to probably in the next video. I'm about a half a day into it here and losing sunlight, so I'm going to try to be on my take on what a poacher's camp is and how I would set one up. One thing you got to keep in mind is, like anything else, it's dependent on your situation and the environment that you're in. Obviously, Dave Canterbury did a good one. It looked like it was in the summertime, spring, something like that. So what he did was took his military space blanket, made somewhat of a raised bed out of it, and then split open his 55-gallon drum liner and used that as the top for overhead of where he would sleep. And it was obviously a good setup, again, for the situation and environment that he was in and the time of year. As you can see, it's winter time here, so a raised bed of any kind, unless you have something that'll heat it up from underneath, wouldn't be good in this situation. So I'm gonna have to do something a little bit different here. The idea of a poacher's camp is just something that's supposed to be a quick setup, easy to put up, easy to take down, and be able to move on the fly rather quickly. Obviously, by definition of a poacher, it's taken of any game illegally. So you wouldn't want a, well-established camp if you're trying to, evade getting in trouble and things of that nature. So it's just going to be a quick type shelter. The only thing by request that I can use to do this is my military space blanket and drum liner. I believe the one I have is like a 40-gallon or something like that. It's not a 55-gallon one. The only difference being here, where I'm at, is we still have a good 2 to 3 feet of snow. Just behind the camera there, I went to set it up a little further back, and I was almost waist deep in the snow. So this isn't an extremely quick camp setup because I'm gonna have to dig most of that snow out of my way. But I'm gonna adjust the camera for you guys, give you a quick peek at how deep the snow really is here, and we'll get going on this camp, so stand fast. Alright, so here I am, completely standing up, and it's just below my hips here, right up to my, my groin section here. So probably 3 feet deep here anyways. So again, I'll reset the camera for you guys. I'm going to be working under this fallen pine and I get that camp going, so stay with me. All I got usually that goes with my tarp, other than the 550 cord that's attached to it already on the tie-out points. I have 4 bungees, military space blanket, and my drum liner. So I'm going to get going on this. Alright boys, so this is what we end up with. Not much different from any shelter you'd throw together in a situation, depending on, you know, what resources you have available to you. So all I use for this one, military space blanket, my drum liner. I threw some pine boughs down on top of the snow before I put the drum liner down. And then the only thing I have in my pack as far as sleeping gear is a lightweight fleece sleeping bag. And I could have a fire just outside the top here, you know, with no issues. So what makes this a poacher's camp, so to speak, is it's quick and easy to put together, you know, as long as you don't have to dig out so much snow or anything like that that gets time consuming. All I did here was kicked some aside, packed it down, and then threw some pine boughs down. This is not a permanent shelter by any means, so again, what makes this a poacher's camp is I'll grab the camera here in just a minute and show you guys what I'm looking at. But behind me, this is in the area that I hunt, so it's generally rolling hills for the most part. There's some good sized ones out here, but the deer tend to run in all these low spots, which is just behind the camera here. And there's actually two main trails that come right through this small little valley here that the deer run on pretty frequently. Off to my left, your right, there's another little trail that they sometimes use to get to this main trail, and that comes within 20 yards of my camp. Other than that, I mean, this camp, it's under a deadfall pine, so there's some dead pines above me. I stacked some more behind me for some camouflage, you know, to keep myself hidden from anybody that's out here maybe trying to find me. But pretty much these game trails and the quick, you know, easy setup of this type of camp is what makes it a poacher's camp, you know, if you want to call it that. So again, I had a request to shoot this video on my take of it. Again, depending on your environment, the season, I could change drastically. Again, as I explained, Dave did a completely different, you know, setup, but it was completely different time of year. So this is what I come up with, you know, for the situation that I'm in and what I would throw together and call a poacher's camp, so to speak. So give me a second, I'm going to grab the camera, I'll spin it around, show you what I'm looking at here as far as game trails, and then we'll take a quick walk around. Alright, so firstly, here we are under the space blanket here. Again, I just threw some pine boughs down. I could very well keep adding to those, no doubt, but I'm just out here shooting a video. I don't want to be killing trees. Not that I'm a tree hugger or anything, but, you know, don't really need them, so I'd rather not, you know, put too much of a beating on the trees around here. So pine boughs, my drum liner right on top of that, and again I'd have my lightweight fleece on top of that to sleep on with a fire right outside the top here. So I'm going to climb under here, show you guys what I'm looking at out here. Not sure you can see it, but right in the background up here is a pretty good sized hill, and it runs quite a ways that way. Obviously on this side of it, closest to us, there's a low right down in there. That's where the two main trails run. Off to the left, you can see there's another little hill right here starting to go up. I'll show you that in a second. But that low continues on right through there, and then it goes up a huge hill out back here. And this is the low, one of the lows that they run pretty frequently here. So now off to the left, here's that hill. Told you it starts going up again. And then just on this side of the hill right here is another little low. And this is the one that's about 20 yards from my camp. So that's an easy shot for me if I had a bow. Very easy with a gun, any type of gun for that matter. So that's one of the things that consider this, you know, a poacher's camp, so to speak. Definitely don't do none of that stuff. I love hunting, but I do it legally. So that's it. That's what I'm looking at over here, right out in front of the camp. In essence, pretty much what I've made is a deer blind, pretty much. You know, without the camouflage in front of me to hide me. So we'll get out now. There's a couple trees there, and we got this dead pine that kind of fell in between them. Got a bunch of dead stuff on the branches up here, still up top. Runs right out. Apologize for that sun there. But we're pretty much right underneath all that stuff. And I threw some on the backside, and we'll go check that out right now. Alright, so here we are on the backside. Again, it's that same dead pine that was down, and we can see the top here a little bit. I've thrown some of that dead stuff here. I could grab some more pine boughs if I wanted to, even chop some of this dead stuff off here and just let it lay over this side of it to camouflage it a little better. But where I am out here, pretty much in the middle of nowhere, I don't think you'd spot that camp too easy. Again, if it was a real, you know, poacher's camp or whatever, I'd definitely camouflage that up a lot better, but that's pretty good how it is. And again, this is that low that runs right out that we're looking at from inside. So let's a look at it from the outside, on the back side anyways. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it on my take on a poacher's camp. Again, some of the research I've done, I don't claim to know a whole bunch about poaching. Next to nothing, except for a little bit of research I did. And again, by definition, poaching is, you know, the taking of any game illegally, and definitely don't recommend anybody doing that. You know, get a hunting license. It helps the cause, you know, of what we're trying to do and preserve some of the wildlife for future generations to hunt and stuff like that. But I'm not here to preach about that. Quick, easy setup. You know, bungee cords, space blanket, and a drum liner. Very easy to set up. Right on a couple game trails. So again, that's my take on it. I think it was David Musgrove asked me to do this, so hopefully, you know, that covered as far as what you wanted to see, and that's about it. So thank you guys again for all your support. Appreciate your views, and we'll see you on the next one.